Hello and welcome to the Trigonometry Code Breaker using sine and cos to solve trigonometry problems. If we have a triangle here, right-angled triangle, with a long side, we call it the hypotenuse, of 37 centimeters, and we have an angle of 18.92 degrees. We look for the side that we're trying to find out. We're trying to find out L. Now L is the opposite side. It's opposite the angle that is given, the 18.92 degrees. If you look at it, you can see the L is very far away from the angle that is given. The way you do this is use sine for the opposite. We start with 37, as that's the long side. 37 sine 18.92 on your calculator, hit equals, and you'll find the answer for L. Next one over here, we're trying to find C, and notice once again we are given the long side of the hypotenuse, and this time it's 50 centimeters. The side that we're trying to find is opposite the angle that's given, the 16.26 degrees. It's very far away from the 16.26 degrees. In order to find C, then we use sine. Start with the long side, 50 sine 16.26. Press equals and you'll find the answer for C. Next one. Once again we're given the long side. This time the long side is 34 centimeters, and we're given an angle of 61.93 degrees. But notice this time that we're trying to find M, and M is not far away from the angle that's given. In fact, this M is quite close to the angle. This side goes all the way up to the angle. Go all the way over here and then very close to the angle of 61.93. When that happens, we call that the adjacent side, close to, next to. We use cos. Start with the long side that's given, 34 cos 61.93. Press equals and you'll get your answer for M. Next one over here. Now something slightly different in this one here. In this case, if you look at F, we are trying to find F. Notice that F that we're trying to find is actually the hypotenuse, the long side. And let's have a look and compare all the other ones that we've done so far. Notice that in this case here, the diagonal, the long side, was given to us. It was 37 centimeters. And over here in the second one, we found that the long side once again was given to us, 50 centimeters. And finally over here we've got another one with a long side. The longest side here is 34 centimeters given to us once again. But notice the difference over here. This long side is not given to us. In fact, we're trying to do the opposite. We're trying to find the long side. So we look at the side that actually is given to us. We start with that side. You put 15 into the calculator. And because you're trying to find F, you're not given F, which is a long side, but you're trying to find the long side, and in that case you use divide. So we go 15 divided by, now what are we going to use, sine or cos? Well, we look here, look at the side that is given to us. The side given to us, 15 centimeters, is very close to the angle that's given to us, 28.07. Don't bother with the F, it's always close to one of the angles. It could be an angle here or here, and F is always going to be close to that angle. So don't look at the long side in this case here, just look at the other side over here that's given to us and notice that it is very close to the angle. So we use cos. So the answer is going to be 15 divided by because we're trying to find a long side, divided by cos, because it's close to 15 is close to the angle. 15 divided by cos 28.07. Press equals and you'll get your answer for F. Scroll down, we'll have a look at some more here. First of all, let's identify whether we're given the long side or not. Okay, this side here, you can have a look at it. Even if you have to measure it or whatever, you can see it is in fact a diagonal. Got the right angle over here if those two sides are next to the right angle, and then the other side is diagonal away from the right angle, and that's your long side, 85. So 85 centimeters, the long side is actually given to us. So this is very similar to the first three that we just did, where the long side was given to us. In this case, we don't use divide at all. Very similar to what we did over here. We didn't use divide for these first three because the long side was given to us. Now let's look at the other side here. We're trying to find D. The side here is not relevant. Don't even think about that. It's not given to us, and it's not a side that we're trying to find. So in that case, we ignore that side over there. Have a look at this other side over here. We're trying to find it. So it is adjacent. It is next to the side that's given, 81.2 degrees. We use cos. So it's going to be 85 cos 81.2. Press equals and you find your answer for D. Next question. Let's first identify whether we're given the long side or not. Have a look at this long diagonal over here. We are indeed given the long side, and it is 29 centimeters. In that case, once again, we don't use divide. Very similar to the first three questions up there. It's simply going to be 29 sine 46.4 or 29 cos 46.4. We don't know which one at the moment. Let's just have a look and find out what it's going to be. Well, we'll look at the G. We ignore this side over here. We're trying to find G. Now G is opposite the angle that's given. When we use the opposite, or we're trying to find the opposite, or use the opposite, or something to do with the opposite, either it's given or we're trying to find it, we use sine. So this is going to be 29 sine 46.4. Press equals and you find the answer for G. Next one. Let's first look and see whether we're given the long side or not. Here's the long side here. Long side, completely away from the right angle. So diagonal. Long side's given to us of 61 centimeters. Don't use divide. Just a simple sine or cos without any division. Alright, so let's have a look at the other side that we're interested in. We're not interested in this one over here. The other one over here that's relevant, we're either trying to find it or we're given it. That's the important other one here. It's the H. So we'll have a look here. See that the H is opposite the angle that's given, 10.39. When it's the opposite, and the side that you're trying to find is the opposite, or a given side is the opposite. Doesn't matter whether it's given or it's the side that you're trying to find. It's not the side over here. It's an irrelevant side. We're not trying to find it and we're not given it. But if we're given the side, either it's a number that's opposite given, or it's a letter that we're trying to find its opposite. In this case, it's a letter that's opposite. We're trying to find out what that is. It's opposite, and it's opposite to 10.39. When it's opposite, we use sine. 61 sine 10.39. Press equals and you'll find what H is. Scroll down and do a few more. We've got this one here. Long side is given to us, 5 centimeters. And we're trying to find E. It's a relevant side. This side over here is not relevant. Don't need to look into that. E is opposite the 36.87. So we use sine. And because we're given the long side, we don't use divide at all. We just have just the simple sign. We've got 5 sine 36.87. Press equals and you get your answer. Let's have a look at another one. In this particular case, we've got R here, and let's identify, is that our long side? In fact, this is our long side here. Okay, it's away from the right angle. It's our long side. It's straight up and down, but it's diagonal from one corner of a triangle. This is a right angle over here. You can see we've rotated it around. We've got to see that that's a top. This is a side over here. Anyway, that's a long diagonal there. Okay, from one sharp corner of a triangle to another sharp corner. Alright, long diagonal, hypotenuse. We're trying to find it. And when we're trying to find the hypotenuse, the longest side, we use divide. So it's going to be 8 divided by something. Now look at the other side that's given to us. It's 8 centimeters, and it's in fact opposite, well away from the angle that's given to us, 53.13. It is opposite, so we use sine. So it's going to be 8 divided by sine 53.13. Press equals, and that will give you the answer. Next one. Let's look at the letter we're trying to find. Trying to find I. Doesn't look like a long side. Well, the long side is over here. The long side is 25 centimeters. Long diagonal. In this case, we're given the long side, so we're not going to have divide at all. Just going to have 25, and then it's going to be sine or cos. Let's work out what one it's going to be. Well, we've got the I that we're trying to find out. The side's irrelevant. We don't even need to think about it. Not given to us. It's not what we're trying to find. So look at the I over here. That's what we're trying to find. That's relevant. Size of 25. That's a long side. So we're looking at the other side there as to whether that is close to or far away from the angle that's given. So we look and see that it's very close to the angle that's given. It's the adjacent, and so we use cos. So we've got 25 cos 73.74. Press equals, and you'll get your answer. Okay, we'll just work through to the end of this page. Another one here, we can identify the long side is 34 centimeters, and we've got J here. J is adjacent to the angle. Long side's given, so it's simply 34 cos, because it's next to the angle, 34 cos 28.07. Over here, the long side is not given to us. Notice the difference. Here we had the long side given to us. Don't use divide at all. Over here, we're trying to find the long side B. It's not given to us. You must use divide. The angle the side that is given to us is 10 centimeters, and it's very far away from the angle. So we use sine. It's the opposite of the angle. So 10 divided by, because the unknown, that the long side is unknown, so it's divided by. Alright, so 10 divided by sine 22.62. Press equals, and you'll get your answer. Final one over here is, notice that the long side is given to us, so no divide, we don't need to use that. Long side is 13 centimeters, and the side that we're trying to find, A, is very close. It's next to, adjacent to the angle that's given, so we'll use cos. So 13 cos 67.38. Press equals, and you'll find your answer for A.